Murray Krugman,
Where are you from?
originally New York City. Born in New York City, raised on Long Island, now living in Vermont.
Astrology sign?
Aries.
Very important, thank you. What's your background, like your career?
Major label producer, marketing executive at Columbia, became a producer, producing Johnny Winter, Mahavishnu, Blue Oyster Cult, Dictators, Pavlov's Dog.
I am Cassidy Murphy. I am a senior in the music industry department. I am studying music industry and I have a business management minor. I will be graduating this coming May and I will be attending NYU in the fall for a master's in music business.
My name is Jay. I'm a music industry major. I graduate next spring, so spring 2019.
What do you aspire to be in the music industry? Just kind of
Well, my dream job was to tour manage Warped Tour, but as we all know, it's ending. So I guess I have to figure something else out now.
I'm Sierra McGinn. I am a junior music industry student.
My name is Isaac Stevens. I am a music industry student. I'm from East Hartland, Connecticut. I hopefully will be graduating a class of 2019.
My name is Duncan Lindsay. I'm a sophomore and I'm a music industry major.
My name is Chantel Meggett, hopefully graduating in May 2019 from Queens, New York, major music industry. I run the accounting committee of the school's record label, so I do the budget, accounts receivables, accounts payable, and all the paperwork that involves from purchases.
I think the most important aspect is that when we were talking about creating Purebred, there's a professor at Drexel, which is probably the closest major music industry program to here, and his vision was to create a student label where the students served as ostensibly his interns. And for me, coming from the career that I've had, that seemed like a really tedious model to me. I didn't want it to be about me. I didn't need it to be about me. It needed to be about the students. So the mantra is really, it's theirs to run, just not into the ground. I think it's a really important experiential opportunity. I believe in teaching not so that they get the job on day one, but so that they keep the job on day two. And I think this gives us the opportunity to have fake firings in a safe environment. I teach students that they'll always get at least one opportunity, and you don't want to swing and miss with that opportunity. So this is that experiential, safe laboratory to create those errors in a fairly mirrored format to what you're about to go out and encounter in the real world. I don't think it's obviously less hierarchical. I think it's more a labor of love for both student and teacher. I think there's more pride in it. The classroom environment, to me, has, I did one similar course. Roger Arnold, who used to be here, and I developed a team-taught course in music production. So he was the engineer, I was the producer. It was a great course. We had 5 teams, 3 producers a team, and a band. And they'd each produce one of the band's songs and be graded on how it came out. And it was a fantastic experience. Students felt safe. Students felt they could be who they were. And for 1 minute in time, it wasn't just about the grade. In the classroom, I remember my first year here when the student kept raising his hand literally every 15 seconds. Is that going to be on the test? Is that going to be on the test? And you sort of feel like when there's nothing more involved than what the grade is, you feel like you're entering the dead world at that point. You really need it to have juice. You need it to be some level of educational experience, and I'm not judging the grade thing. I'm not saying that that students are bad because they're grade focused. I think there's a lot of pressure from parents. There's a lot of pressure from the university. There's a lot of pressure from the government in the form of loans. So I understand those equities, that pressure that's put on students. It just doesn't get the best out of teachers to have the experience, the exchange of knowledge, because it really is an exchange of knowledge. I walk out of classes learning as much as the students do, and if teachers don't, I don't think they're really teaching.
It's actually a really fun class. It's like a class that you don't feel like you're doing work, but you really are. So it's fun. It gives you options to work in the industry and not actually have to perform. Like there's promotion, accounting, production, and legal.
You know, it's really important for us to be hands-on and to be in charge of all things, but you know, if A or B doesn't go right, like he's there to be like, okay, take a step back and breathe and you know, think of the logistics, and he kind of just guides us on the way. So, you know, if you make a mistake, it's not catastrophic because, you know, you won't get fired, or you know, sometimes you do get fired. I was fired, you know, that happens. Like, but you know, you just have to pull through, and some mistakes happen. But at the end of the day, we have someone there to guide you through it.
Purebred, you learn, I guess, how to work with artists, and it's a lot more challenging than you would think. Being someone with the knowledge of everything that goes on behind the scenes, the artists usually are in their creative space and all they know is make music, play music. So trying to bring them out of that space enough that they know what's going on behind the scenes, but not pulling them all the way out is kind of a balance you have to learn, especially working with touring. Obviously, you have artists, and you know, if you have to be in Boston in 3 hours, you have to be in Boston in 3 hours, but they're in the middle of a songwriting session and they don't want to get up. So you get to learn how to work with artists, and I mean, I'm the head of legal, so learning a little bit about contracts would help anyone, regardless of what you're going into. So learning, you know, different kind of contracts and how different people get paid, especially when you're working with touring, because you have so many different people working under you, whether you the people who do food, the people who do setup, lighting, design, the people who drive the buses. There's so many people you're responsible for, so knowing who needs to be where, who gets paid how much they get paid, and stuff like that really comes in handy.
I mean, Witch Hair is a band that I knew of because I knew Tom, their drummer, working. I mean, I play shows in New Haven. I host an open mic, and I work at a music store. So I know some musicians that play around, and I had heard of his band. I knew he was a really good drummer. And when I heard their stuff, it kind of, you know, I was interested to know if they had any label, you know, any label representation. I knew they were coming out with an album, and I thought that, you know, because Witch Hair is made up of really professionals, you know, they're all three of them are in their 30s, and one, you know, one of them has a kid, and you know, they needed some help with, they couldn't do everything themselves, which is such an important part of really starting a band and starting a career with a band. They're really serious about their music, but they can't take care of everything. And so as far as distribution, as far as release and promotion, I felt like that was something that we could really help with.
I feel like even though we have certain, you know, committees and our committees have certain functions, we all kind of transcend those boundaries that we're limited to, or our committee says we're limited to. We do A&R work, and we are constantly going out to see shows and scout artists and, you know, look in the Connecticut area for artists that are interested in being represented by us. And I think Purebred has really helped me like hone on my skills to, you know, communicate with artists and critical listen and make sure that they fit like our record label.
What are things that kind of pop out to you?
Passion and potential, you know, passion for what you do and just music as a whole, and putting everything you do into making music and putting it out there is definitely important. And the way you present yourself, you know, whether it be on social media or in person, it's so important to present yourself and your music in the most positive light. I've always loved music. I've always been passionate about music, and I feel like this is a real foundation for my future career. This has been it's a trial and error kind of thing, you know. There's no consequences because, you know, your wage isn't on the line, money's not on the line. It's a learning experience. You're here to learn, and Purebred has given me that opportunity to build a foundation for myself, for my future self.
I am the marketing director here at Purebred Records, and we deal with all things marketing, which is a surprise, marketing director. I have a committee full of people who work together to promote the label and our artists through social media, on campus, in the New Haven area and beyond. So we have been using different social medias like Snapchat and Twitter and stuff to promote not only Purebred but our artists, and it's really been interesting seeing how many people engage with like Snapchat, because a lot of people think it's dead, but like we get a lot of engagement in Snapchat, so it's pretty cool. I definitely think that Purebred has been one of the biggest tools here at the university that has helped me into my transition into getting a real job in the music industry, because it's not like it's just a class. Like, we are like a fully functioning like indie record label, and like we kind of do things on our own with the help of Murray, so we don't drive it into the ground. So I'm really interested in marketing and PR, and that's what I want to go into, so this has kind of like been the perfect thing for me.
People think, are we getting paid for this? And we're not. This is a three credit course, so you know, we have to basically pay for this. So I know you got to take advantage of it once you do the class, and if you choose to do the class, you have to really show passion and love of music, and you really got to, you know, show that you care about the artists and care about the label, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you're not getting paid for it, but it's kind of the idea of having an artist and exploiting them and promoting them and gaining hands-on experience, which kind of like helps your drive for the class itself. And, you know, the letter grade kind of helps too.
As an artist, if you want to get signed, you can get signed here. This would be like your first record label, and like we distribute around the world, so you'll get lots of, what's the word?
Publicity.
Yeah, publicity from everywhere, and it will help build you as a person.
And, you know, one of the things that Murray Krugman says, our supervisor, is he wants to let us run the record label, but not run it to the ground.
The one word I would use to describe Purebred, well, it's two words, cohesive unit. We all work together so well. Where someone lacks, someone makes up for, and vice versa. It's really all about teamwork and putting everything you have into helping yourself and your team and your artists to make for a great, smooth running record label. And I think, especially this semester, the people who like have been working in Purebred have really shown that sense of teamwork.
One word I would use to describe Purebred is valuable, because we are given the opportunity to mess up and not get fired. So, you know, when you're in the real world and you're working for a record label, money is time and time is money. So if you mess up, that's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars lost, and depending on who you are and what position you're in, you're out of a job now. So now you have the opportunity to make mistakes before it's a disaster. And then you have somebody there being like, no, don't do it this way, do it this way. When you get in the real world, you're probably not going to have that opportunity.
I'd say the coolest thing about Purebred is that it doesn't feel like a class. It feels like real industry experience. I mean, the artists we're working with are not, I mean, some of them are student bands, but they're real bands. They're touring, they're making music, they're trying to make a career and make money, and that's what Purebred is doing too. We do get some money from the school, but we make money selling merch. We are, you know, writing legal contracts, real contracts with these bands, and releasing music into the world on digital platforms and in stores, and that's awesome. I think it's cool how important Purebred knows it is. You know, everyone involved in Purebred is really stoked on getting people excited about it, getting people excited about shows, about local bands, and it's you know, it kind of starts in the university bubble, but then it also, we have shows that are, you know, we have college night at Stella Blues, and we have shows in the local area, and our bands play shows outside of the University of New Haven area, and I think kind of getting students involved in that, in the larger New Haven area is awesome.
So I hated accounting before, like, working in this committee, and now accounting is, like, actually fun. Like, I hate the class still, but doing hands-on accounting work is much better than taking an accounting class.
Responsibility is key to being a leader. You need to be on top of everything you do. You need to have time management skills. You need to know exactly what you're doing and plan it out to, you know, help everyone. It's not just you running the record label. It's on you to help everyone else. It's a lot, but it's worth it.
It's important to know that, you know, when I sign an artist, I want them to make sure that they know that we're there for them, that we want to, you know, promote them and do everything that any label does, because that's what we do. That's what we do well. And, you know, it's important for them to understand that regardless of who's in the faculty at that moment in time, we're always going to push to do the best that we can do. So
What I really liked about Purebred is that it feels like a real industry, almost internship or job, less than a class.